Well, here we have a WITTNAUR with a great story to it. It is a 1950s WITTNAUR. A great story to it. A 1950s WITTNAUR. The crown has come off. The strap doesn't look too dirty at all, which is marvelous, but I will clean it. The dial is just beautiful. It's just in pristine condition. This watch was given to a senior in high school by his dad, and then it was passed down to his son, and the dad had to travel some distance to buy this beautiful watch for his son. Just a great graduation present. At the time, this was the finest money could buy. He went and bought his son the Rolex of the day. Just absolutely beautiful. So, let's open this up, get the strap off of it, and we'll get it ready for the next generation. Okay. First thing we got to do is take this strap off. And that'll help us clean everything. I mean, they just... Oh, one of the ends of the bracelet already came off. These have a flexible bit under spring tension. These have a flexible bit under spring tension right here and right there. Now the pins aren't part of that. But you can see these pins, because it's a bent bracelet end, you can see that the pins are bent too. See that? Man, that is just got lots of love on that one. And this guy, you can see that one's coming out too. There's a Spidell. We may have to replace that. $65. Man, that's just too pretty for words. That is just too pretty. Look at that. Now that's just beautiful. So the WITTNAUR brand here, I'm using bronze brass tweezers so as not to scratch anything. The movement ring right there with the shock spring on it. You can see that shock spring right there on the side. There's no case screw. There's no case screws on this. It's missing screws. That looks pretty stiff. I mean, it just wants to tick. WITTNAUR excellence. But that's there. Now it's moving a little bit better. Yeah. Well, let's uncase this and get this case cleaned. And there it is. It still has all its lume on it. Man, that's pretty. Look at that. All right. Well, let's get some gloves on, get this case cleaned. The crystal needs to be replaced, definitely. And we can find one exactly like that. There's the old Gustav Becker, 1880s. Some Germans. Looks like the parts are all there. We've got a crown that was provided by the owner. And that is a WITTNAUR crown. Beautiful signed crown. I think that piece will not fit in that piece. It is microns different, but it is different. Okay, we're going to take this stem out and that's not supposed to be loose like that. That's the winding weight. Why is that loose? It's in good shape. You see how they've coated the outside of this with a different metal than the inside? And so the weight is pushed to the outside of the rotor. The specific gravity is pushed out here so that the momentum carries. But that should have come out with these two screws, not just fallen off of there. He said knowingly. Let's take a look at that rotor up close here. Even out of focus, look at the polish on that. It's just a beautiful piece of workmanship. You can see those two screws and a collar right there. There's no threads on it, but there's that screw and that screw, which are tiny, were loose, and therefore this collar is loose, and I think that that made the weight not wind the watch. And you can see right here there's an abrasion, a really light abrasion right there, and so this weight was flopping up against the back of the case, and so I think it was never winding automatically like it should have. Yeah, because the gears look fine. Look at this piece of steel, brass even. I mean, it's just beautiful. Those teeth are so small. I don't even know how they mill those. Anyway, let's look at the hands on the dial here. Alright, so once we, under high magnification, again, this is under a microscope pretty much. Let me get that in focus. We'll look at the dial in a minute. But you can see that the hands aren't really set horizontally. That seconds hand at the top is really far up. And the hour hand, let me get this around here. The hour hand looks like it's so close to the batons, the wording and numbers on the face, that it almost looks like it needs to be angled up to clear them. See that? That's just not right. We'll set those hands better. Here's the case, and it hasn't been cleaned in a long time. This is all the dirt that's on the case, and we'll be able to clean that up and make this case look beautiful. Glad that didn't wind up in the movement. It's on both sides. This is classic. Every watch has this, unless it's cleaned on a regular. And we can buff this case out. This is a stainless steel case, so a light buffing will bring that polish right back up, unless you like the patina here. We can do either way. And here we look at the star attraction, the face of the watch. And these WITTNAURs, even under magnification, this starburst pattern. Oh, what was that? Did you guys see that? We'll check that out in a minute. You can see that there's a lot of dew, moisture on the batons and the hands. This has had some moisture in it. Not much, not like hard water, but it got humid is what I'd say. Humidity was in this watch and dried here. You can see what a font. I mean, look at that 6. That is just such a pretty font. And you can see when I hit it with UV lamp that the phosphorus is still just wants to glow. Automatic with the dropped C. You can see there's debris here on the dial face. We're not even going to try and attempt to touch this dial. It's just perfect the way it is. 1963. 3. Look at that 3. I mean, what a font. That's just... You gotta love these old faces. That is not Helvetica. Or Times Roman. Look at the small piece of... Okay, so these hands had to be made out of steel, and then the loom, the glow in the darks. Did you see that again? Wow. It looks like it's hiccuping. The movement's hiccuping. I haven't put a full wind on it, so I don't know what's going on there. It could just be that it's got a really soft wind. But the loom on these hands is just beautiful. Let's watch that hand again, shall we? I think it hiccups right before right before 12. The loom on the hour hand. It's just so tidy. I can't say enough good things about this watch. Nope. Did you see that? There again. I think it's only happening up in that area, which means that the gear... Oh. No, that means that there's just probably not a sufficient wind to kick the second hand over. I'll get a pin vise on that winder and I'll give it a good enough wind to see if we've got a gear issue or just this is what it's like when there's no power left in the spring. This is what it's like when there's no power left in the spring. That's pretty impressive. And there it is again. Yeah. We'll check that with a full wind, but I doubt that's going to be there. And again, just that 12. It's just so cool. So what we have here is a digital representation of what's going on inside that watch. And you want to keep in mind that these two lines right here are basically the tick and the tock. And the flatter that is, and the lower that number, the higher that number, and the lower that number, the better this watch is running. So what this is telling me is that this watch is running within 9 seconds a day at a very high amplitude and a very low beat error, which means that this is running incredibly well. I don't know if it means anything. We'll see what that glitch was and see if that happens in every noon. That might just be a handset error. But anyway, your watch one's great.